Hello to all my people around the world. I hope you're having a good day. My name is Ovidio Garcia, and today I will be talking about how the world will never be the same. As we all know, we're all going through some crisis around the entire globe, and there's a lot of people with fear and panic. And I will be explaining to you why I think the world will never be the same, and with my experiences that I'm living right now, why I think the world will never be the same. So I'm gonna start off with talking about the other day I was at the supermarket buying my groceries, and this was my second time going to this grocery. And when I went to this grocery to buy my food, the first time I went to the self checkout, but the second time I went through a cashier. So when I went to the cashier, I could see that, everybody has to be at a certain feet from each other and all that. And then it was my turn to be next. So I started to unload my food on the conveyor belt. And I got to the cashier and I saw a bagger and I saw another employee behind me in the next aisle working his cashier. So while I finish unloading all my food, the cashier in front of me starts to scan, and I go next to where the credit card machine is at. Now keep in mind there is a plexiglass in front separating the first cashier from me, and there is another plexiglass at the end of the lane that is for the bagger. Now where the credit card machine is, there is no plexiglass. So I went and I inserted my debit card because I was getting ready to pay. And unexpectedly, I understand this, the cashier told me that I couldn't stand next to the credit card machine because I was too close to the bagger. Now, the bagger is a couple of feet away from me, so I wasn't close, but respectfully, she told me I had to stand in front of her, in front of the cashier. So I moved in front of the cashier, expecting that this plexiglass is going to protect me, quote unquote. But I started to think about how the cashier behind me was much closer, was within an arm length distance compared to where the credit card machine to the bagger was further away. And I started to think, here is a flaw. Also, the cashier in front of me told me that I could not get my cart until the bagger finished loading all the bags into my cart, and that she had to move to another lane so I can get my cart and I can leave. But I started thinking about, how could that be if the person behind me, the lane next to me, is much closer? Wouldn't that put me more at risk? So I started to question what is going on. And I was like, wow. I started to get a little bit more of a clear understanding. First of all, I asked myself, how is a plexiglass that has openings from the two sides, left and right, and on top, some even have it to the bottom, is going to protect me from getting, quote unquote, infected? That was the first question. Number two is, if that is true, then why is the person behind me, an employee, closer to me than the rest of the other employees? So now they have the gaps of the social distancing are not measuring up. It's like, okay, that doesn't make sense to me at all. So I got my food and I took off after. I started to think about how all these people have fear and panic, wearing masks and wearing gloves and quote unquote thinking that this is not going to, or this will transmit, and these devices that you wear are going to protect you. Not knowing how this virus can spread, if it's spread, and if it's even real. So how propaganda works and how the power of the subconscious works is that when you're sitting at home and you're not working right now, because you probably have weeks without working, the majority of the people, you keep seeing these repetitive messages, repetitive images, and repetitive words. Your subconscious starts to absorb this information day in and day out. They talk about the symptoms. You catch a fever, you start sneezing, you start throwing up, or whatever the symptoms are. Guess what's going to happen when you listen to this over and over and over? Your body is going to start reacting to what it listens to. That is the power of the subconscious. And if you don't know about the subconscious, go study it. There are a lot of books out there that tell you the power of the subconscious. Very wealthy people, very powerful people train the subconscious to believe what they want them to believe in, to want it to believe. So if you understand how this repetitive information works, my question to you is, don't go listening to what you're just looking and watching. Television program stands for a particular meaning. You're watching the television because you're watching with your eyes, and your subconscious is getting programmed to whatever information is being seen. That's why it's called television program. You're visualizing it and you're programming your subconscious to believe or to see what it's seeing. So that is the danger of when you are glued to your TV, your devices, and you keep hearing and you keep seeing this repetitive information over and over and over. So don't go from my information, go through your own information. And one thing I want to leave you with this question in mind. If I always see the both sides of the story, both sides of the coin. If this is true what's going on, and if it's less than 1% of the population that has been infected or is dying, why has the whole economy been paralyzed? Why has it been stopped? Why has this social distancing is being, embedded so much in the humans walking around on the face of the earth? One thing is that in a group, when you unite with each other, you become strong. But when this group of the society starts to get broken up and people start seeing their own point of views, you become weak. Maybe there is a reason why this is happening. Maybe the people who do control this world do want to see distancing, do want to see people not being united, do want to see people in fear, panic, and chaos. And it's very sad. It's a sad reality that when I go out in public, I can see the fear in people, and something that maybe it's true and maybe it's not true. You choose to believe what you want to believe, and I would choose to believe what I'm going to believe in. But the only thing I'm going to just leave you with, just do your own research. And if things do not add up, maybe you should question it. How propaganda works, how the subconscious works, and the information given is, if I keep repeating to you that the color of my clothes is white, and I repeat this message thousands of times, your subconscious sooner or later will believe that the color of my clothing is white. That is how the subconscious works. And it's very, very delicate, and it's very dangerous, because the people who do control this world know how to manipulate the information the subconscious observes. So just be careful. I leave you with that question. Tell your loved ones that you love them, because what I'm seeing is separation from humanity, from close quarter speaking from each other. Anything close, they're separating people. And that's the way we communicate. We communicate through body language. We communicate through short distances of each other. We transmit energy from each other in a close quarter location. So when they start to do this social distancing, just think about it. That's all I'm going to leave you with. Just think about it. That's all I'm going to say. So like I've said before, I love all of you madly, and I hope everybody has a good day.